Right, I think I've gotten Marlynn to an enjoyable point for Blitz, right? I'd still think she's not, up there, but we have tweaked the brain dead deck to actually have playable things, right? Like more arrows, for instance, but still a lot more feasibility, right? Mainly thanks to the fact that Death Dealer is still legal. Do I even need Death Dealer? If I draw another arrow, this is worse, but we'll see. I should draw pump. I have majorly pumps. Yeah, there we go. Right, so yeah, the fact that we can either cycle away an arrow when we want to go into, for instance, the Goldfin Harpoon, right, is really nice. And then on the flip side, just having more arrows for when the Goldbait Hook gets broken, because there is a lot of block. So for instance, this Arachne could block 12, potentially, and then an extra 4, so 16. So with Blossom of Spring, we can get over that. We could do a 17 turn with our Goldfin Harpoon. But I think this is a fair trade, right? Doesn't really do much for us, but we get the that all you got for one of the Hunter's Claves, so to speak. Oh, we actually have 2, which is beautiful, right? So then, as long as they don't have a way to buff the daggers, we get some drawback, and then we can go into a 5-card Goldfin turn, unless we draw an arrow, in which case then we can pivot and just do an arrow. And of course, it's Kiss of Death to start, which means flicking that, I would assume they still go for a swing, surely, but, taking this damage is not nice. I really want to draw. It's hard, because, it's Blitz, it's a quicker format, so I want to be really aggressive, but, potentially, I should be being a lot more defensive. Now, the question is, do I go for the second Hunter's Clave? Do they go for the second Hunter's Clave? I feel like they wouldn't. I suppose if they react on this one, otherwise, this is our Death Dealer pitch, so it's not so bad. Yeah, right, and they don't use the Blossom, potentially. I'm really hoping I can get the other, that all you got off. But it's a Leave No Witness, which I suppose I still want to block out, but most likely it's a react into this. Banish top card of the deck, one card. Actually, no, I don't have to block this because it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fine. Would have liked to get the other card if that all you got, though. Would have been really nice then Blossom, right? And have a really big turn. Oops. They might have been trying to react. That's my bad. I don't know how. I'm not going to choose a reaction, but shouldn't go back to their step anyway? I don't know. So for our turn, we go Marlynn. Unfortunately, we go Death Dealer off that all you got. Load that. Don't draw an arrow. Beautiful. And then, yeah, we can just play everything. The gold tip's really nice because it guarantees our gold, so our gold beta hook won't break. And then we just send a nice big 17, which, unless they have defense reactions, they can, at max block 16. They're still way ahead in damage, so we're probably not going to win, but it's definitely enjoyable, right? And as fun as just, brain dead, play 4 buffs, send a 14, doesn't work too well, right? Really have to get over the armor barrier, so having those extra arrows in the deck definitely makes it a lot more worthwhile, right? We'll go over the deck after this game, right? And then we'll probably look for another one since Blitz is nice and quick. But yeah, there's all the armor, 1 react, right? And probably just let it through at this point. It's not, destroying the gold bait hook or anything like that. Read the glide path. So yeah, this is really nice because I can Death Deal away the Swift Shot if need be, or I can play the Swift Shot if I draw. No, I haven't drawn any of the other arrows that let me reload, right? Otherwise, I could Blossom and pitch a red into a gold as well for the gold bait hook. So there is lots of outs that are nice. A flick, take up the mantle, will make me sad. But, what can you do? Was it? Cool. Into Deadly Trouble. Oh, God. So this is a 5. I mean, it's the gold bait hook. Probably the Swift Shot as well. And then what happens, right? I think that's playing relatively quick and with a little thought. Probably rationale to thinking about it more, right? There's the Razor Reflex and the Shred. Toxin works too, right? I think that's enough damage? No. This doesn't buff. Cool. We survive on 2. But yeah. Oh well. So yeah, in this scenario we go 1. We can see the top deck, which will draw, which is nice enough. So we might as well leave it. Place Tension, Seek and Destroy, Place, and then we go Blossom, Death Dealer. Forget that I haven't Marlynn yet. Oopsie daisy. Death Dealer. I probably should have cycled it looking for a blue. There's, I think, 2 blues in the deck, right? One of the salvage cards, so we're dead to the Blood Rod anyway. But there you go, nice 17, right? They block out, and then we succumb to a deadly, deadly poison. And it is just nice that it is still big arrows, right? But it does have the possibility to go a little bit wide and flexible, which is definitely really nice, right? In Blitz. So, for instance, there's 1 snatch for Snapdragon Scalers, but then, you go Snapdragon Scalers off of the Goldfin Harpoon, off the Dry Powder shot, throwing a Bolton shot. Remorseless is in his too, so there's lots of different possibilities. And then Enchanted Quiver, you heal Soul Arcane damage. If it's Arcane, if it's Blaze, you're probably just, you're dead. right? But yeah, 14, 18, 17. So that's reasonable value, no? But again, there's no real disruption or anything like that, and the main crux of your game plan, Gold Bait Hook, your opponent can definitely play around. But let's take a look at the deck, shall we? So, deck-wise, here we are. Now, the reason I'm taking Blossom is Spring is, again, it's a bit abnormal to get a tuning off, right? In that matchup, what do we have? We did go first, so we did get to our turn 3. So, in that scenario, Tunic is technically worth more, but, you're not going to get more than one use. If you're blocking with it before you use it, then, it's also not that great. There's rationale to either, but I think Blossom of Spring, just for the aggro potential, is nicer, right? So this just completes Death Dealer in that sense, gets you 1 extra card, right? Which means that you can get that 1 extra 3+ on your Goldfin Harpoon. And then again, with Death Dealer, so flexible with the fact that none of these arrows penalize me for what I want to do with the deck, which is again just buff a nice big Goldfin Harpoon. So yeah, if we double draw arrows, it's fine. 1 gets cycled away. We just buff that arrow. If we draw 1 arrow, we cycle that away, buff our Goldfin Harpoon. But again, the big crux of it is you have to get through your opponent's armor, and then you can sort of comfortably deal with their hand. Granted, you're still in trouble against Earth with, Group Bound Carapace and any deck that blocks reasonably well, right? So aggro on aggro, you'll fare okay, but yeah, you can still be shut down. But again, if we lose Gold Bait Hook, if we lose the Goldfin Harpoon, then we still have, a decent chunk of arrows to fall back on, right? So Amplifying Arrow, it's nice in the fact that, we can pitch it into gold if we ever get a surplus of gold. In fact, there you go, there's no blues in this deck. I think I was taking, Seafloor Salvage, but in all honesty, you're never really going to want to play this, right? So the only decent gold generation is Loan Shark, because it, carries on for 2 turns. Even then, I kind of feel like it's unnecessary, and just gold the tip is the main fallback, but, you need some level of gold generation. I think it's just kind of a negative unless we had more blues. If we had more blues, then maybe, because again, a blue into a gold with Death Dealer is also nice, but not enough good blues to take, right? Main crux being Shifting Tide, since, anything we pitch from our deck gets Death Dealer off, right? C4 Salvage again, maybe we get a gold off of it, and Rusty Harpoon just as a blue arrow we can shoot. Is there any good blue arrows? No, not really. I suppose instead of the Snapdragon Scalers, I could take good blue arrows, right? And then rely on the debilitating effect, and then at least a decent Goldfin Harpoon, right? There's definitely different ways to tweak this, where we're sort of one step up from Brain Dead, just buff Goldfin Harpoon, to now roping another arrow, so maybe at some point we go back to the Sea Lace Sarong, wherever it is, and then taking more blue arrows, but to really get the value out of this, you want a ton of blue arrows, and it being Blitz, keeping an Arsenal card is also not always great unless, you're going first or you have some other way to generate it, Ponder, for instance. Now, the other issue, because we are taking a bunch more arrows, Codex is not so great. Well, isn't it? What's an arrow? So Codex is bad when we have to load an arrow, right? And then still have Codex in hand. The only way Codex is good is if we have full buffs, Codex, we play Codex, and then if it hits an arrow, it's fine. If it doesn't hit an arrow, we can then go back into the normal loop, except for the fact that we have to pitch for Death Dealer now. So, yeah, unfortunately, as fun as Codex was, and, it's still decent value, it just doesn't mesh with anything else, right? With the discard. Plus, your opponent, depending on them, if they have an Arsenal card, you're not really getting that value. So, yeah, that's the deck in a nutshell. And then, depending on the matchups, Scurv or Gravy, Uni seems good, although they can always instant Gravy, so unless they have a real big surplus of gold, Uni's not that great, so it is nice for Scurv since they do want to sort of stockpile and they can't deal with it straight away. That's all you got for anyone who blocks, anyone who attacks with 2s. Assassin, mainly, Tarpit's probably more worthwhile, but again, for keeping tempo on and aggro, I think that's all you got is better. And then Tarpit Trap, which I don't think I've ever really sideboarded in, so that could probably go, and then we just end up taking another set of buffs, maybe. I was also thinking sort of 10-foot tall, since it is a nice block, but, definitely lose you the race, because the following turn, you're kind of out of luck, right? With the -2 intellect. Maybe there's merit to it. But yeah, I think that'll do for now. I think we'll look for one more game, right? See if we can pull off a win. Well, speak of the devil, right? So it is Blaze, they're going first. Which means we're pretty much screwed, right? We have our measly 1 prevention. Blaze going first is just tumultuous, right? I mean, this is not so bad, right? 2 premeditates into amplifying arrows, so both of them are worth 4. That becomes a 4. That's not worth it. Why am I taking an amplifying shot? Oh, it's a yellow arrow for gold to tip. Amplifying arrow should probably go. definitely not nice. And we have no way to block to, you know, make a better hand. So, a whole bunch of setup and a little bit of waning mood damage. Actually, no, they didn't get an opt, interestingly. I'm probably... I mean, they don't block super well. No, there is the defense reactions, I suppose. It's not a big enough harpoon for me to like it. But I guess it has to do its job. Right, so Marlynn, create a Goldfin harpoon, Death Dealer, pitch away the amplifying arrow, and then hope we don't hit another arrow. Look at that. What a shame. Right, so premeditate. I don't think I'm going to waste Goldbane Hook. I think I'm going to just rely on more arrows. I mean, chances are they close out the game next turn or the turn after anyway. Right, but 11 to 2 Ponders. Maybe I could have got away with Godbane Hook, but, you know, unless it's over 12, my assumption is always they can block it out. So, oh well. Yeah, there you go. There's defense reaction. At least we do get to stash a Bolton Shot, which means we can go, you know, somewhat wide next turn. A couple 7s is definitely really nice, unless we get something a little bit better. Guess we'll find out. Unless we're just fried. Hopefully this is just for the Waning Moon, right? Was the activate this only if you play no-attack action card this turn? No, so it's not defense reactions. So they are looking, right? The, was it? Old Knocker. So good, right? With the instant step. It has to be the best cold war, right? From the treasure packs. That and then Unicycle. But, yeah, here comes the damage, and then next turn we're definitely within range anyway, so nothing we can do. With Remorseless in tow, it should still be the Bolton Shot. And a Swift Shot. Interesting. Least attention. Bolton Shots, and then death. Right? No? No death yet? A little bit of death. You want to see how low I can get them? You can go face up. They don't have it either. I can't Snapdragons and salvage this. Maybe that was the plan. I mean, this is now... Actually, you know what? I should go all in on this. The chances are I'm dead, surely. I mean, there are not that many opt counters for Blaze. You might usually see. Interesting. I guess they drew everything they didn't want at the start, so they couldn't get counters to then snowball. Well, it is a win. One more. Okay, now this is interesting because we can definitely rush them down, but once they become movable, we're definitely in for a rough time. But this is a nice match to close it out, right? Are there any equipment destruction effects? No. But, you know, Remorseless and the Swift Shot is nice here, right? So, God, was it? Arm the cannon? Drop the cannon? Drop the anchor? The new reload. Cool in the big guns. There we go. Right? That's a reload, and then also take aim as a reload. So the 6 buffs that can reload, right? Definitely good for the arrows. Not a good start. Free block. But, you know, maybe we can do fine. How do I want to play this is the question. It should honestly just be cycling away the Swift Shot and loading the Remorseless, right? Because I think Remorseless does more than going wide. Yeah, and then the premeditate means we play everything and then just Blossom of Spring it, right? And that should be enough damage still. Maybe. We'll find out. 14. They have 3 there and then 11. I suppose they could clear their hand. But that puts them back a turn, so to speak. It minuses the equipment. And we're still sort of in the same position. I suppose keeping 1 buff would have been better to try and guarantee an Arsenal card. Then the legs? Yeah. Yeah. If it was 3 less, it would be 11. I'd keep 2 cards? I'm hoping they go, this is not enough damage. Right, give me the Ponder. I really want the Ponder. So we can have an extra card now following turn, and then, you know, maybe it's just a big harpoon. Although, again, if they set up another equipment piece, we're probably out of the running since, you know, Steel Soul Memory is so much block. No legs? Interesting. Alright, we'll take it. Cool, that's nice too. How do we play this, though? I can't play that till after the Bolton Shot. So it should be Fire in the Hole. This doesn't necessarily give the reload because they'll block it out. I suppose it should just be cycling that then. And just going all in on the big, right? Goldfin Harpoon. Don't hit another arrow, please. Give me another buff. Beautiful, no defense reactions. Get a gold, guarantee the gold bait hook. Ah, I could have. Would Wire have been better? I had to break the chain, though. Means they have an extra shot at the steal. No, I think it's better since we have the gold baited hook guaranteed. Right? 5, so 15, 17. I think that's a nice big arrow. So 14, no defense reaction, so you can still block 12. So it should get some damage across. It should get us the gold. I'm very curious how much scrap they run, right? Or played from Arsenal. I assume it's not Arsenal, which they lose, which is also really nice. We don't have to. God, is it cracked? Oh, it has to be. I have nothing else. But I think instead of Death Deal, it's just called the big gun. Sorry, I'm half thinking thoughts, right? Because we have 2 gold, I don't have to gold bait hook. Let's just send a big arrow. Like so. They have 1 more block out of the Steel Soul. So they do have exact here if they give their whole hand. I mean, we might be able to fatigue them, it looks like, right? Although we are also getting pretty fatigued. But, no. Wait for scene, and then probably set up more equipment. We are getting damage across. We need to hit some of the other big arrows then. Or a snatch. Haven't taken 2 snatches, but part of me doesn't want to. You can destroy is nice. I guess they want to block more in that case. Or is it the opt? Oh, they want to shoot. Ah, that would have been good. I mean, I'm rooting for them. I always love to die to the big robot man, but we're trying to win. I could also cycle away the Lone Shark. I don't think it's big enough, though. Take aim means I can load. So it should be Lone Shark, Marlynn, take aim, load. Not big enough. That's still decent. Right, 11. Threatening, decent effects. I mean, we could end up slightly ahead, fatiguing-wise. If I can just rely on, little tiny gold harpoons. I'm trying to think of the end case that lets us win. Because, there is that loop, right? I have 1 pitchable, and it's just Goldfin harpoon, gold beta hook, over and over again. It's like a pseudo-weapon, essentially, as long as it lands. But surely they go to set up some equipment now. There's your scrap. Beautiful. And it's when it's attacked, so there's no rationale to block it out. Our turn, we don't have a load, so I have to cycle 1 card, but that's fine. It's part of the chart the courses. I'm just going to take the damage. There's no point with gold beta hook. I'm trying to think if there's Terminator tanks that are bad. But they can't block with Steel Soul, because I assume they want to go for Singularity. This is fine. Marlynn. Death Dealer. Valid course. Hopefully we don't hit an arrow. Well, it's actually not too bad. I guess I just cycle it away, unfortunately. Maybe I'm doubting the amplifying arrows. Because 2 buffs into an amplifying arrow is still not enough. Yeah, no. The lace is nice. It means they can't keep their Arsenal card. And we don't have to hook here. Although, would we have enough damage? No, because they have Steel Soul, so I don't think we'd have enough damage. Yeah. I think the amplifying arrow goes. Goldfin Harpoon for 14. It's not nice when they can just stock up on 3-block cards. An extra 3-block card, essentially, right? It's like having that extra Arsenal card. Granted, the disadvantage is you're not starting with any equipment. They have another leg set up? Oh, that's from hand. Confused for a second. Punished for not hooking. With the 1 extra gold, I'm just trying to think if there was a rationale to use the hook as an incentive for them to overblock, right? Because so far here, we could have kept going without the gold bait hook anyway. Maybe there was some rationale there. The rationale here, I'm not using gold baited hook until I Goldfin, which means I can also pitch it into the gold. No, I won't have gold. God. I think it's just go for the big arrow, right? They have 5 block there, and this will be 17, so they have to give their whole hand. Would going wide be nicer? Gets me 1 extra damage and 18. No, I think it's still better to cycle. I mean, we can see what's on top before we commit to anything. So it's an amplifying arrow, which we can stick to the bottom, which is good to get rid of. And then we can commit another one, just in case, to guarantee that we hit a buff. Come on, show me another gold to tip, right? Give me a few more turns. Remorseless. Oh, that's tempting. How would I play Remorseless? So we would crack the gold with the gold to tip to draw it. Pitch, pitch. It gets blocked out though, right? Not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it. We go that. We go Marlynn. Death Dealer. Pitch that. Not as big as I'd like it to be, depending on what we hit. Hopefully we hit one more 3. Load. Beautiful. Drop the anchor. Goldfin. And then gold bait hook for free. Beautiful. Alright, 18 block, which is fine. We're not down at gold. This hand is a little bit rough. Well, not necessarily. The snatch lands, then swift shot's fine. Snatch doesn't land. It's almost a hand to just loan shark the gold, as in play the gold off of loan shark, right? I have to get that little bit of damage across, which generally means wide should be good. Snatch is a must block. That gets me the load, and then I have a card for dry power shot, and maybe I can buff this. I think that's better overall. We go Snatch, and then it has to be Snapdragon Scalers, because I need to go again. Fine. Right, the main thing is just aiming for that chip damage. Then crack the gold. Off the loan shark. Load the swift shots. Play the swift shots. Should be a card and equipment. Good. Takes this off the table. Oh, it's another defense reaction. Well, that's definitely rough. 3, 6, 7, 8. No gold either, which is a problem. I want a nimblism this, or do I want to save it for next turn? I think I have to keep the pressure on, otherwise they just get more equipment. It has to be then 8, right? Which should be the equipment and the last 2 cards. It's another 4 block. God, they're just taken so well. Still, I got all the cards, which is nice. I don't want dry powder shot first. Quick shot, Bolton shot, we have a load. So I have to do charter course first, which actually makes this really awkward. Yeah, it makes this super awkward. Because the Bolton shot's going to be blocked out anyway. Actually, potentially I should have pitched away charter course. So go... Yeah, no, we go Death Dealer. We pitch the charter course, and we're hoping for any better buff, and it's an amplifying arrow. Oh, God, that's not good. Yeah, this probably does us in. Because this is just awful now. The amplifying arrows need to go. Because if this doesn't land, then it's just a huge loss in tempo. Alright, so it is blocked out. Close the combat chain. Swift shot is just awful here. Oh, what? Am I out of buffs? Is that what's going on? Yeah, no, they have successfully fatigued me. But it can be death by remorseless in some extent. So our play is amplifying arrow into... there's a charter course, because we pitched away a charter course, so that's fine. So we can bolt and shot, we can have somewhat of a white turn. But even then, it's still better to go into the remorseless. So it's amplifying shot off of itself. And I'm just going to load the remorseless, I think. Well, actually, no, if I load this, it still does go again if I charter course it. I guess that's better. But I think they've got enough block with the equipment, fortunately. This needs to go. Not worth it, just to try and trigger gold to tip. Considering we have Marlynn on queue, essentially, for gold to tip. Arsenal that. Dry powder shot. Why did I think I should have counted? It's the big mech, man, which should definitely do the trick. We're definitely being fatigued out here. But then in turn, whenever they play an action card, so remorseless is also, in a sense, off the table. I mean, they're 3 blocks. We'll fight to the bitter end, right? Style. Then we can be pounded by big mech man. Right, they get their War Machine, Terminator Tank, whatever it is back. Beautiful. Nice, glorious 5-card hand. Such a cool payoff. And just, their main issue is because of boost, right? Just there being the consistent way to get it back, which, you know, should have been the find the construct card, but oh well. What can you do? Bam. I mean, again, it's pretty consistent, right? Damage. Looks really nice. Just again, you know, Arcane, Hanky decks, gonna fall a little bit short, right? She's close, but she's not quite there.